Hey everyone, it's Krystallee here. So, how do you use your mental energy when you're stressed? And when you're in a stressed state, your mental energy is probably being used on thinking about the problem, ruminating about the problem, being distracted by the problem, and focusing all on the problems that you're experiencing that are causing you stress to the point where then you burn yourself out. So we wake up with energy. We can't make more energy. We can replenish energy when we fall asleep, but throughout the day, we have to know where to distribute that energy. And if all of your focus is on the stress, then that's where your mental energy is going to go. It's going to go towards the things that are stressing you out. And when you don't have very useful or practical coping tools, the stress will overtake you and start causing you to feel many different ways emotionally and will show up in a physical way as well. So your mental energy will feel like it's depleted. You'll feel exhausted all the time. You'll feel like your mind is going in loops and circles. You'll feel like you can't really think very clearly. You have brain fog, and that your mind is almost cluttered with too many things, and you can't really tell if you're coming or going, or the decisions aren't very easy to make. And it can really throw you off on your day-to-day living. So what can you do here? When you find yourself in a state where your mental energy is being drained and you're feeling this both emotionally and physically, it's time to do something about it, because if you stay in this state, it'll continue to chronically get worse, and everything that you're experiencing will continue to be there and could start snowballing into other symptoms. So finding out what's going on with what you're stressed with, meaning doing a bit of investigating within you to work at finding where your mental energy is going and towards what. And this requires you to evaluate what's going on in your head. What are you thinking about? What are you constantly focused and giving your attention to? Is this really practical? Are we fantasizing a little bit too much about it? Are we giving it more attention than it needs? Are we not able to problem solve because we're stuck in our own thoughts and loops about the problem? Are we in a serious emotional attachment and in an emotional state with our problems that it's keeping us held down and unable to break free of them? And these are some of the questions that you should ask yourself when you find your mental energies being drained. Where is your mental state at this point towards what you're feeling stressed out about? What are you thinking about? How's it affecting your thoughts? How's it affecting your everyday way of how your brain processes information, how you can move through the day? And this is really important and critical in trying to start to understand your coping skills that you currently possess and how this is affecting your stress levels at this time. And perhaps it's blowing them up, it's emphasizing them, it's putting the spotlight too much on them, and perhaps maybe it's worse than really it is. Or perhaps it is really bad and you just haven't had an opportunity to work at it yet. So really, our mental energy at this time needs to go into healing some of these situations, improving some of these situations, changing some of these situations. So rather than focusing on the issues that are causing you stress, you have to turn that focus in a different direction. And that means moving away from feeling the pressure and the impact of the stress and work at changing it to how the stress can change you in your life, change you in your current circumstance of how you deal with things, how you look at things, and perhaps it can teach you something. But when you stay in that constant state, it's not teaching you anything, it's depleting your mental energy. So we need to change that way of that negative mental depletion and put it into a more positive mental motivation, more uplifting ways of using that stress in a more positive mental state. So we have to work at what our problems are doing to us, and work that out with somebody who can help you through your thoughts, can help you evaluate your coping skills at your current state, and find a different way to respond to them. So when one thing happens after another down the road, you're able to respond in a different way, so you aren't harnessing this sense of energy where it's being focused on the wrong things, but put it towards better self-serving things, so you can work at problem solving, work at moving away from the stress and problem solving the stress, work at finding more beneficial ways to attend to the stress, but not allowing it to deplete you on a mental energy. Because let's be honest, there's multiple things throughout the day that we have to do constantly. And so your mental energy needs to go into the right places. So you don't want the stress to steal it. You want to be able to put the attention and put what's necessary towards those, and then be able to distribute it among the rest of the day in other ways that would benefit you as well. And I'll give you a quick example. I mean, at my current workplace, I could have given into the stressful mental energy environment there, but I've chosen to disengage from that and not participate in that heightened level, and to bring my own attitude, bring my own way of dealing with the stressful situations, so I don't get wrapped up in them. And that's really important, to harness that kind of attitude, but you have to be aware that it's happening in the first time, so then you can take a different approach to where you expel your mental energy. And then you'll be able to do a lot more things and be in a different state where it doesn't control you, but you can control it, and you can have a better outcome for your own self, so you can benefit. So if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to chat with you. If you have your own thoughts behind this, I'd be so happy to hear from you if you leave a comment below. I hope you're able to get some value out of that today. I'll see you soon.